All right, let's talk about something big, something that's promising to completely flip our digital world on its head, Web3. So is this all just a bunch of hype, or are we really looking at the next version of the internet? Let's dive in and find out.
But before we get into all that, I want you to think about something, just for a second. When you post on social media, or you buy something online, or, I don't know, even call a ride, who really owns that moment? Who's in control of the data you just created? It's a bigger question than you might think.
Okay, so to really get what Web3 is all about, we first have to take a hard look at the internet we're using right now, the one we're on every single day. This is what people call Web2, and it's built on a very particular idea of who's in charge.
And really, it all boils down to one huge difference. Right now, in Web 2, the internet is pretty much company-owned. It's centralized. The big dream for Web 3, it's user-owned. It's decentralized. And look, this isn't just some nerdy technical detail. This is a massive power shift. We're talking about taking control back from the few giant companies that basically own the digital world we all live in.
I mean, think about it. Companies like Facebook and Google, they don't just offer you a service, right? They own the whole playground. They control your data, they make money off of what you do online, and even things that felt kind of peer-to-peer at first, like Uber, they didn't stay that way. They blew up into these huge centralized companies that act as a middleman, taking their cut from every single thing that happens.
So, what if there was another way? What if we could build an internet that just doesn't have those powerful middlemen? Well, that is exactly the big promise of Web 3.
At its absolute core, Web3 is all about one thing: ownership. It's this idea of an internet where you are back in the driver's seat. You own your data, you own your digital identity, you own your digital stuff, and you can do what you want with it without having to get permission from some big company first.
So how is any of this even possible? Well, it's all built on this foundational tech called the blockchain. And the easiest way to picture it is just think of a public notebook, a record book that everyone can see. But instead of one company keeping that book, copies of it are shared across thousands of computers all over the world. That's what makes it so secure, so transparent, and really, really hard for anyone to shut down or censor.
Okay, so what does this actually feel like? How does it create a new system? Well, for starters, instead of logging in with an email and password that some company controls, you use a crypto wallet that only you have the keys to. And instead of just being a user of a platform, you can actually own a piece of it through things called tokens. Your identity isn't stuck on one site, it's yours to take with you. And of course, everything you do gets recorded on that public ledger for anyone to verify.
All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, kind of revolutionary, in theory. But what can you actually do with it? What does Web3 look like in the real world, in practice?
Well, it's already sparking whole new industries. You got DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. That's basically banking without the actual banks. You probably heard of NFTs, which are just digital proofs of ownership for things like art or collectibles. And then you have these things called DAOs, which are kind of like online clubs where members get to vote on the rules and how to spend the group's money.
And the way you interact with all this stuff is through something called a dApp, which is just a decentralized app. So instead of going to a normal website that's running on Amazon's or Google's servers, you connect your own crypto wallet straight to the app's code, which lives on the blockchain. Your wallet literally becomes your login, your bank, and your ID, all rolled into one. Okay, but it's not all sunshine and roses. There's a twist, a really critical detail about this new internet that a lot of people miss. And if you're not careful, it can be a huge, huge trap. I call it the transparency trap.
You see, that core feature that makes the blockchain so amazing, the fact that it's all open and transparent, well, that turns out to be a massive double-edged sword. It creates a whole new kind of privacy risk, one that you just don't really have to think about in the same way on the old internet.
And this is the part you absolutely have to understand. Public does not equal private. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite. Everything you do on the blockchain is recorded on a permanent public record. Anyone, anywhere in the world, can see it. Forever.
It's a weird paradox, right? You're using what feels like a fake name, your long wallet address, but every single thing you do with it is out in the open. And here's the kicker. If anyone ever figures out how to connect that wallet address to your real name, then boom, your entire financial history, every app you've ever touched, every single thing you've bought, it could all be exposed. And that's not even mentioning that your regular internet footprint, like your IP address, can still be tracked when you connect to these things.
So, if there's one thing you remember from this part, make it this. Decentralization alone does not equal privacy. It's just not automatic. You might be in control of your digital stuff, but if you don't take extra precautions, you can be watched just as easily, maybe even more easily, than you are right now.
Okay, so if this whole thing is so public, how in the world are you supposed to explore it safely? Well, the good news is, you're not powerless. There are tools you can use. So let's put together your essential Web3 safety kit.
Here are 3 straightforward things you can do. Step 1, use a browser that actually cares about your privacy. Step 2, get yourself a good, secure crypto wallet. And step 3, and this one is super important, use a decentralized VPN. That's what's going to help hide your IP address and break that connection between your physical location and what you're doing on the blockchain.
And if you want to level up your privacy game, here are a couple more pro tips. Try to use decentralized exchanges, or DEXs, since they usually don't ask for your personal info. Also, don't use the same wallet for everything. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket. It's a really good idea to have burner wallets for trying out new or risky dApps. And it should go without saying, but never, ever share your personal details inside these apps or on forums.
So, where does that leave us? We're left with this big question. Web3 offers this incredible, powerful vision for an internet that's actually owned by us, the users. But as we've seen today, just making something decentralized isn't a magic fix. That same transparency that gives it its strength also creates brand new dangers. The technology gives us the tools for freedom and ownership, but whether we actually get there? Well, that's going to depend entirely on how we choose to use them.